a little bit late. Okay. Stops. Okay, so Shalom Aleichem to Pesher Achal, who's sitting in Kisei HaKavod, and the chair of honor. And I see that Katie is watching, and I'm guessing Zahava is here. And to my mother, who watches every week when she gets around to it, Bezat Hashem, and to Yael, and Shana Batsheva, and Aryeh is away this week. But he did warn me that he's going. And, okay, we're going to continue. Bezat Hashem in lesson 24 in Likutey Moharan. And what we're learning about is Rabbi Nachman started off by quoting Rabbi Yeshua ben Hananiah, who the elders of Athens said to him, "Where is the center of the universe?" And he took his finger and raised it up, and he said, "Here it is." And I noticed in the English, the black version, the black copies of Likutey Moharan, they have a whole addendum, an additional section about all these questions that the elders of Athens asked. So I'll have to look at that eventually, but we're not going to get anywhere near that today. If you want to drink this water here. We can hear the protesters outside, protesting outside the Knesset. For some reason, I don't know why, because they're shouting, "Bring them home." And really they should be at the border, the Gazan border, as close as possible to Hamas, really as far to the south as possible, as close to Hamas, shouting, "Let them go." Because it's not like the government can do anything more than it's doing. I guess it could ignore America and win the war. That would help bring the hostages home possibly. But I really don't understand these protesters, except for that before they were protesting the judicial reform, and now they're protesting the hostages and whatever. I feel sorry for them. Bezat Hashem, so I should dedicate this lesson, Bezat Hashem, that all the hostages be returned, that all the soldiers be successful in winning the war wherever they are. Refuah Shlema to everyone, and Refuah Shlema to Ruth Bat Rivka and Aaron ben Chanaliba, and to everyone in the Refuah, and safe travels. We're in lesson Chaf Daled, like ceramics, exactly. And safe travels to Gittel, Rivka, Batzil, Esther, and everybody who needs good Bezat Hashem. Okay, so we were learning before about elevating the mitzvot through joy. That's, if I want to summarize it in one sentence, that's where we are. And now we're continuing. Now we're going to go very deep, and I even printed up the map because we're going to get deep into these kabbalistic concepts in a minute. It's very interesting. I think I learned this little section that we're going to learn tonight 4 times. And the 5th time was tonight, and the 5th time I think I started to understand a little bit. I even learned it with my chavruta this morning, who understands this stuff really well, but he's like, oh, these are the big secrets of Kabbalah. I can't tell you exactly what, I don't think he even understood what was going on, but I started getting an idea. Okay. So he said, after he explained through saying the ketoret. So we used to bring the ketoret, the incense offering, to the Beit HaMikdash. Now we say simanei ketoret, we say it in the davening at the end of davening, where we mention all of the different combinations of incense that was brought. And of course, last week we talked about the incense that smelled bad. Which one was it? It's so funny. Where is it? I remembered it before. Chelm. That's it. Chelm. Sometimes when I debate with people and everyone around me believes the same thing, I feel like the Chelm. I feel like I'm that off-smelling incense. But altogether, so what's the idea of the Chelm? That in the different types of incense, there's these beautiful smells, but there's one that smells bad. That is the negative energy in the world, and through simcha, through joy, you elevate the negative energy in the world. And through bringing the ketoret offering, we elevate the chelm, which is the lowest of these, or the socially unacceptable smelling incense. But that's the idea, through joy, that we can elevate it. He says, after we learn that through joy we can elevate the klipot, the negative energy, v'ayetzera, and the evil inclination, al yidei asiyat mitzvah, b'simcha, by doing a mitzvah with joy, shezo ota b'china, this is the same aspect, right? Doing the mitzvah and bringing the incense offering. Yiva'er ata she'al yidei ze yechola sfirat hamalchut da'asiyah la'alot kivyachon beragleha. Now he's going to explain that through doing a mitzvah through joy, the sphere of malchut, which is the attribute of malchut, which is kingship, which is the lowest of all the sphirot. You can see here, this is the one on the bottom, and this is the one that receives the energy from all the sphirot here. We can elevate malchut by doing the mitzvot, b'simcha. And in a sense, we give it what he calls raglayim. We're giving it legs. So you can see, because it's on the bottom, it doesn't have any legs. But we're going to give it legs. We're going to give it the legs of netzach and hod and yesod. These are going to be the legs of malchut, which is going to allow it to go up. That's the idea he's talking about here. Ki v'chol, as it were. Ki hitpatlu haklipot hamachmidot v'tosvot et ragleha. So when we do a mitzvah with joy, we're elevating this attribute of malchut. And by doing that, in a sense, we're giving it legs. And God forbid you can imagine somebody who lost his legs, and now he has prosthetic legs that enables him to walk. Or maybe some miracle, they'll figure out a way to make legs grow back, because I know there's, I forgot which animals there are. There's certain animals, the starfish I know, can grow back a limb. And who knows, maybe one day somebody will figure out, and I know that the fingertip can be grown back. I know if somebody loses a fingertip and it's caught quickly, there's this powder that they put in it, and it actually grows back with the nail and everything. So, Bezat Hashem. So that would be the idea, that malchut is getting back its legs. Okay, כשאדם עושה איזה מצווה בשמחה, when a person does whatever mitzvah it is with joy, יש כוח במצווה ללך ולעורר כל העולמות לעבודת השם יתברך. So you know that we have the 4 worlds of Bria, Yetzira, what is it? It's called Bia. Whatever, I don't remember the order of the 3 worlds, and if I can find it here. Atzilut, I don't know where it is. Okay, so we have the 4 worlds. Now, what does it mean, the 4 worlds? There are many worlds. And what it means is it's Hashem's energy coming down into the world it has to be filtered and filtered and filtered and filtered. So if you take an eyeglass lens and you put another, like a sunglass lens, and you put another sunglass lens and another, keep layering them, eventually no light is going to come through, or a very small amount of light. Oh, here, we just had a solar eclipse, not here in Israel, but on the other side of the world, and people were wearing special glasses so that they could look at the sun and see the solar eclipse. That's what these worlds mean, that Hashem's light is filtered down and filtered down and filtered down. It's still there, but it's so small that you can barely perceive it. So when a person does a mitzvah with joy, they elevate elevate the joy through all of the worlds, all of the four worlds above it. So when you do something down here, you're affecting all of the energy above. מבחינת הכתוב שמשה רבינו עונה לפרעה ששאלו מי הם הולכים להקריב להשם במדבר, and this is related to the holiday that's coming up, Pesach, and this is connected to what Moshe Rabbeinu answered when Pharaoh asked him, who's going to go out into the desert with you and sacrifice the Pesach offering? And Moshe Rabbeinu answered, B'na'arenu u'b'zikneinu nelech, with our youth and with our elderly we're going to go, B'tzonenu u'vikarenu nelech, with our cattle and with our goats and sheep and with our cows we're going to go. Now, obviously, we're talking about elevating the four worlds. So here we have four different types of people and animals that are going to offer the sacrifice, the Pesach sacrifice, which means that when we do the mitzvah with joy, we're causing an elevation all the way up through all of those lenses, back up to the highest level of energy connecting to Hashem in this world. Ki al yedei mitzvat korban Pesach, because they're doing the mitzvah of the Pesach sacrifice, sheyakrivu besimcha, that they did it with joy, yitoreru kol ha'olamot, all of the worlds above are elevated through joy, and that's the main thing there. V'chol asher behem la'avodat Hashem yitbarach, and all of them in the service of Hashem, but it comes through joy. Kach be'er b'mei hanachal kan v'zeh lashono. So mei hanachal is which means the water of the river. Waters of the river is one of the commentaries on the Likutey Moharan, and he explained, and this is what he said: Hainu shemoshe amar leFaro, that is that Moshe said to Pharaoh, she'al yidei mitzvat korban Pesach shenakri b'simcha, that by doing the Passover, the Paschal offering with joy, ne'orer kol ha'olamot, we're going to elevate all of the worlds, v'kol asher behem, and everything that's within all those worlds, la'avodat Hashem yitbarach, to the service of Hashem. V'yamshichu bracha v'sechem ve'emunah toch birkat Yisrael. And we're going to draw down by sending up the joy through all of the worlds. We're going to draw down bracha, bracha, which is a blessing, sechel, which means da'at, means an awareness of Hashem, and emunah, and we're going to have faith which will come into all of the Jewish people. Okay. So now we're talking about Malchut, which is here at the bottom. Shel Olam Asiyah, in this world, this lowest of all worlds. Malbish et Sfirat Netzach Hod v'Yasod. So Malchut is enclosed with Netzach, Hod, and Yasod. So you can see that they're above it and they're connected to it. All three of these are the final level coming into Malchut. And these are, in a sense, the feet of Malchut. So we have Netzach is Ubchinat Regel Yamin, is the right leg. Hod, Ubchinat Regel Small, is the left leg. The Yesod, and foundation, is Bchinat Ot Brit Kodesh. So this is a sign for the circumcision. So now, I actually asked this to my chavut this morning. Okay, so we have one leg, two legs, and the thing that's in the middle, which is, Brit Kodesh, which is the circumcision. And I said, that's kind of a strange thing. Why is Rabbi Nachman mentioning that? He said, no, it's not the circumcision. The circumcision is the place where the kedusha, where the holiness is coming out. And so when you have these legs and you're connecting them in a holy way, that's when you elevate malchut. So it doesn't mean necessarily the place of circumcision. But the mitzvah of circumcision in biblical times before the Torah was given was the only physical mitzvah that we had. It was that's why you would see that Abraham made Eliezer take an oath, and he said, put your hand under my thigh. I don't know if he put it actually, how they did it actually physically, but that was the only physical mitzvah. Like Shabbos you're keeping Shabbos, but it's not something on you. That's the one thing that was given to Hashem, given to Abraham, and that was continued going down through generations, and that was the mitzvah. So that's like the foundation. That's why it's Yesod. Yesod is the foundation. Netzach is eternity. Hod is beauty. Malchut is kingship. Yesod is the foundation. So we have, in a sense, these two legs and the connector between them. V'hine b'chon sfira yeshno or pnimi ve'or chitzoni. Every one of these spirot, every one of these attributes, has an internal light and an external light. Just like with everything. Like every person, you could say. Every person has their external, the way you see them, and then there's the person on the inside. And each of these energies, that's really what they are, they also have an external and an internal. By doing the mitzvah with joy, so when you do a mitzvah with joy, malchut, this is the lowest of all the sfirot, and you can imagine there's lots of these circles, and they're stuck in the darkness of the negativity in the world. And how do you elevate that from the darkness? By doing a mitzvah with joy. It's like you're sucking it out of the swamp, out of the mud, cleaning it off, and sending it up to Hashem. Here he's saying that the mitzvah have legs. In a sense, it's like having wings. Even though he's going to talk about hands, he's going to talk about the head. And it is important to say that it's feet, but we picture something is going up to Hashem, so there's some ladder or some way for the mitzvah to go to Hashem. So when a person does the mitzvah with joy, al yada ola hamalchut mea klipot, they elevate malchut from the klipot. Azai ha'or pnimi shel spirat hamalchut ola umakif umalbish et or chitzoni shel spirat netzach hod yesod she lamala mimena. So when you elevate malchut, I guess we could fold it, and in a sense it's like this. You're elevating malchut, and you're bringing it up into yesod, into netzach, and hod. You're bringing it to this higher place by elevating malchut. And all of this is in this world, in this physical world. Meaning that when you do a mitzvah with joy, you're actually creating a chain reaction on the spiritual level, and you're elevating these energies that are sitting there in potential, but they can't be elevated until you do the mitzvah with joy in this world. And why is it important in this world? Because in all of the other worlds, if we were able in our physical body to be in this world, we would no longer have free choice, because we would perceive Hashem's presence so clearly. If yesterday I was driving a car, went to Osher Ad to do the Pesach shopping. They took a car to go car, and I had to fill it up with gas. And I'm always so scared I'm going to put diesel in the car and destroy the car. Even though it says diesel and it says benzene and it's blue and it's green, I'm always scared. But imagine, so I actually have a choice. I could put by mistake diesel in the car. That's my choice. But imagine there was some electronic device that would identify your car as diesel or regular gas, and it wouldn't let you fill it up with one or the other. Then you wouldn't have a choice. You go to, by mistake, fill up diesel into your gas car, and you go like this, and it wouldn't work. Oh, so you'd say, fine, so I have to use the other one. Oh. But you really didn't have a choice. And that's an example for this world. This world, you really have a choice for everything. Anything that's in the realm of possibility for you, you have a choice. And that's why when you do the mitzvah with joy, you're elevating it to the highest level. ואזי כשהמלכות מלבישה את אור של ספירת נצח הוד יסוד, and when Malchut encloses the light in the energies that are above it, יש לה כוח ללכת לעורר את כל העולמות לעבודת השם. Once you elevate Malchut by doing a mitzvah of joy, you send that energy into these sfirot, which means the higher levels, and they don't do anything without it coming up here. I guess in a sense, you could imagine sending light, and light is going into each of these, but the light only comes if you shine it from the bottom up. And that's doing the mitzvah with joy. And this is what it's written in Tehillim, Torat Elokav Belibo. The Torah of Hashem is in a person's heart. Lo Timod Ashorav. The person's steps will not falter. Now, when it says Torat Elokav Belibo, where is joy? Joy is in the heart. So what it means is this, you see how it's written in such a deep way. Torat Elokav Belibo lo timad ashorav. Like even the Hebrew is hard to understand. But in this is really like a secret. He's saying, Torat Elokav Belibo. When the Torah of Hashem is in your heart, and what's in your heart? Joy is in your heart. So when you do the mitzvah with joy, then your steps will not falter. You'll be guided. You'll be automatically elevating the energy that Hashem put into this world through the broken vessels, because the world couldn't handle the light. You're elevating it from the negative spaces by doing a mitzvah with joy. Torah hi taryag mitzvot. Of course, we know the Torah is the 613 mitzvot. Ukshenaaset belibo hainu besimcha. And when it's done in a person's heart, that is to say, when it's done, when a person has joy in their heart, ki simcha hi balev kanan, because where is joy? It's in the heart, as mentioned above. Ubezeh zoche shelo yachliku tza'adav. And with this, a person will merit that their step, they won't slip on the way. ויוכלו הרגליים של בחינת המלכות לעלות ולעורר את כל העולמות. And then, when you're doing the mitzvah with joy, your steps will not falter. You won't slip on the way. And then you'll allow the feet of Malchut, which you added by doing the mitzvah with joy, to go up and elevate the higher worlds. Kamosha needs be'er, as is explained, Shehi HaMalchut, that this attribute of Malchut, Malbisha et Sfirot Netzach Hod Yesod, it is enclosed. The energy that Netzach Hod and Yesod is getting is coming from Malchut. Wait, where am I here? כשנעשית בליבו היינו בשמחה, יוכלו הרגליים מבחינת מלכות לעלות ולעורר את כל העולמות, כמו שנתבאר. המלכות מלבישה ספירות נצח הוד יסוד, שהם מבחינת הרגלין. This is the feet, ועל ידי זה היא הולכת ולעורר את כל העולמות לעבודת השם. Through doing the mitzvah with joy, you're sending this energy up, and it's elevating all of the worlds above it. And here he's bringing another text proof for this. Halichot Eli Manki B'Kodesh. My steps to my God, my King, are in holiness. Meaning, how do I come close to Hashem in holiness? By doing the mitzvah with joy. Ki k'shema'alim et tzfirat ha'malchut ben haklipot letoch ha'kedusha. When you elevate the attribute of Malchut, so every time I say elevating the attribute of Malchut, it means to do a mitzvah with joy. That's the code language for doing a mitzvah with joy. What is the product of doing a mitzvah with joy? It's elevating this lowest level on the tree here of Malchut. It's elevating it, and it's elevating everything. In a sense, all of these are going to compact into one another. Malchut is going to go into Yesod. Netzach and Hod, they're going to go up to Chesed and Gevurah. Yesod, Malchut, Yesod, and Tiferet are going to come up into one another, and eventually they're going to go to Chochmah, Bina, and finally to Keter. Now I can tell you, he's explaining this in a very detailed way. But what is he trying to say? Saying when you do a mitzvah with joy, you're elevating it from the lowest place, right? The lowest part of your body is your feet. and the feet are coming up to the hands. And the hands, right, we know that when Yaakov blessed his children, when he blessed his grandchildren, right, he crossed his hands, he blessed Menashe and Ephraim. And we know that the Kohanim, I can only do it on one hand. I'm a half Kohen, I'm a Levi. So the Kohanim bless through their hands, and the parents, when they give a bracha on Shabbos, they do it through their hands. So we have, first, the feet. It's an inspiration from below. You're, from the lowest level, doing a mitzvah with joy. You're now elevating it from your feet to your hands. It's coming, of course, through the heart. You can see how all of this is related to this. We have the feet, we have the heart, we have the hands, and then we have the head. And that's really what this is in a sense. So once you do the mitzvah with joy, you're elevating from the lower place, through the center, to the hands, and the hands are going to the head. And these are the three levels that we're talking about here. Feet, hands, head. And all of them are connected. And when you do it, you're, just like we said, you're affecting all of the supernal worlds above it. You're also affecting your whole body and how you do a mitzvah and how you connect to Hashem. But the main thing is to do it with joy. Because if a person is just doing the mitzvot, so they have the kli, they have the vessel for doing the mitzvot, but the vessel is not full. So for example, a person that goes to yeshiva and has a full Torah education and can pick up any holy book and pretty much understand what's going on, if it's just knowledge, but it's not being applied, it's knowledge and potential, but it's not there. But once you start to apply it, and you apply it with joy, then it becomes more than just knowledge, it becomes an actual way of connecting with Hashem. We are here in this finite world where we can't really see Hashem, and we have a way of connecting to Hashem. We do it by doing the mitzvot through joy. Okay, so Alechet Halichot Manki Shema'alim et Tfirat HaMalchut L'toch HaKdusha. We're elevating Malchut, we're elevating this lowest level to holiness. Shazohi B'chinat Manki B'Kodesh. This is how I worship Hashem. This is how I connect with my King through holiness. Imal Beshet et Alichot Eli et Netzach Hod Yesod. So he's basically saying the same things again and again. Shem B'chinat Raglim Lelechet Leoreh Kol HaDvrim HaOlamot LaAvodat Hashem Yitbarach. So it's what I said before. You're elevating all of this to Hashem by doing the mitzvot with joy. Ve'al yidei hitorerut, and through this inspired way of doing the mitzvot. But hitorerut is really simcha, is joy, because when a person, hitorerut means to waken yourself up in a joyous way. Like if somebody, you're sitting there in Simchat Torah, everybody's dancing around, and you're sitting on the side, and somebody comes to you. You know, there's this great story of there's a simple guy who can barely learn, and he's dancing on Simchat Torah. And one of the scholars says to him, "You didn't really learn the Torah this year. You know, you're not a scholar. You can't learn like the rest of us. So why are you so joyous? Why are you dancing on Simchat Torah?" He said, "It's true. I'm not a scholar. I can't learn like you. But if my brother is marrying off his daughter, aren't I joyous for him? And since you're celebrating learning the Torah, I'm joyous for you, and so I can get up and dance." So when a person has a thought like that, it inspires them to get up and dance and do something with joy. That's hitorerut. So through hitorerut, hainu al yidei alicha, that is through walking. Now when we say walking, means that the mitzvot now have the ability to move because you've done the mitzvot with joy. Shebechinat alicha shel malchut. We're talking about the walking of malchut because how did we give malchut its legs? We gave it by doing the mitzvah with joy, which caused the energy to go into one another, and for these to come down, and for this to go up, and for these to make their legs, and now they have the ability to walk. Mitoreret et kol haolamot la'avodat Hashem. You do this one thing, you're causing this chain reaction in the supernal worlds to connect all of them to the service of Hashem. You probably remember, I don't know if you remember Pesher Ochel because you haven't been coming to class for that long. There's a famous story that I've told 100 times in this class about what's called the depressed tzaddik. Now, according to Chabad, I don't know if there's such a thing as a depressed tzaddik. There's different interpretations of who's a tzaddik and how to reach a level of a tzaddik. I guess there's a tzaddik v'ralo in Chabad. There's a tzaddik where things don't go so well for him. And so what's the depressed tzaddik? It's a person who's on a very high spiritual level, but he wakes up in the morning and the Yetzer Hara says to him, you're a lotov, you're bad, you're worthless, you don't even get out of bed. And the guy can't get out of bed. And he tries to find one reason to get out of bed, and all he comes down to is Shelo Asani Goy. Hashem, you did not make me a Goy. Now, we know all of these things. Shelo Asani Avid, Shelo Asani, we say Shelo Asani Isha, which I can explain in just a second, and Shelo Asani Goy. Why doesn't it say She'asani Yehudi, She'asani Chofshi, She'asani Kirtzono? Why does it say it in this way? It's because Hashem is giving us, in a sense, a bank account. And the bank account does not have an overdraft. If I was a goy and I wanted to be a Jew, I had to convert. But since Hashem made me not a goy, I'm not a goy. But who makes me a Jew? I make me a Jew. Hashem, what it means, that bracha means, is that you're not a goy. Now it's your job to make yourself a Jew. Which is why men say, Shelo Asani Isha. It's not because we don't want to be women. We weren't born women. If we were born a woman, we wouldn't be saying that. It means that who's going to make me a man? Like the obligations of being a man? Me. When I wear a kippah and wear tzitziot and grow a beard and go to shul and put on tefillin and do all of the things that I'm supposed to do, the prayer is not saying, thank God I'm not a woman. That doesn't make any sense. The prayer is saying, Hashem didn't make you a woman, now you make yourself a man. That's your responsibility. And when it says, Shelo Asani Aved, when it didn't make you a slave, okay, you're not a slave, so now you have the ability to make free choices, you make your choices. So the tzaddik who's depressed, he says, Shelo Asani Goy, look, Hashem didn't make me a goy. And from that he was able to say, and so I can be a Jew. And eventually he gets himself out of bed, and he goes to shul, and he has shvach davening, not the best davening in the world, but he davens. Now, Rabbi Nachman says, in the supernal worlds, he said it's like taking a flashlight, shining a light at the clouds. I don't know if they had a light at the clouds back then, but this is what he said. And we have it now because, you can take like a strong light, a beam, and you can put it on the clouds. I know when I was a kid in the movie theaters, they used to have the lights going like this from World War II. Those lights were used to see aircraft flying at night. And so you can literally see the light going across the clouds. So he said, you make this little tiny change down here. All you did was this. This is only the movement that you made. But up above, it makes this huge change. He said it goes millions of miles spiritually doing that little tiny thing. So that's the meaning of what we're saying here. Al yedei ha'hitorut, through this inspiration that you're creating for yourself. Hainu al yedei alicha, that is you're taking malchut, which is all connected to all the sfirot. You're elevating it by doing a mitzvah with joy. You're making this change in all the supernal worlds above, connecting them to Hashem. Nimshach bekoach elyon bracha lechol ha'olamot. You draw down from the supernal energy a bracha, a blessing to all the worlds. Now, do you know what the word bracha means? So you can take a kid. Very few people know what it means. Kid that has a full yeshiva education, 20 years of Jewish education. You could do it with an adult as well. You don't have to do it with a kid. You say, what does the word Baruch Atah Hashem mean? What does Baruch mean? Like you say it all the time. It's one of the first things you say every day. What does Baruch mean? They'll say, blessed. Okay, what does blessed mean? Baruch. What does it mean? You don't know what it means because you have to think about it. I didn't know what it meant either. It was Rabbi David Aaron that I learned it from. Bracha means to bring down. I forgot, Yael will correct me. The varech, how do you say to put the vine, when you take the vine and you put it under the ground and you pull it back up, it's from the same root as Beit Reish Chaf. Livarech or lavrich, I think is what it's called, lavrich. When you take it and you put it under, so what are you doing when you're taking the vine? I'm going to take my cable here. We're taking the vine and we're putting it under the ground and bringing it back up. We are forcing, in a sense, Hashem to bring down the blessing in order to elevate it back up. And if you think about berech, which is your knee, what does the knee do? It bends. And when we daven to Hashem, we bend our knee and we bend down. That's bracha. That's what it means, to bring down. So he says, when you do the mitzvot with this excitement and this joy, you're bringing down the supernal energy and you're causing a blessing to go down into this world and back up to all of the worlds. V'inyana bracha u yirida hashefa, yiridat hashefa. This idea of a bracha is drawing down the abundance me ha'en sof baruch hu, from the eternal light, blessed be He, Agavoa me'akol, which is higher than anything, and kol olamot, into these lower worlds. That's when you do a mitzvah with joy, you're enabling, you're creating a conduit to bring Hashem's light down into this world, from the highest place, from the infinite place, to the lowest finite place. V'chol ha'brachot ha'ba'ot me'lamala, and all of the blessings that come from above, tzrichot lavot tchila lemida atachtona. Where do they have to start from? They have to start from the lowest level of the sfirot, which is sfirat ha-malchut, which is the sphere of malchut. It always has to start from here. It doesn't start from the top. It always starts from the bottom. What does that mean? That means that you are responsible for creating the inspiration for being connected with Hashem. A person might think, I need to meet a holy person, and that person will inspire me to be connected to Hashem. And it's true that a holy person could inspire you to be connected to Hashem, but it's not the same as you being able to inspire yourself, because what happens if, God forbid, the person dies, or the person is far away, or the person is inaccessible? So now you have to look for another holy person that's going to inspire you. But what if you can inspire yourself? What if instead of getting electricity from the electric company, you can create the electricity yourself? But now we're talking about spiritual electricity. That's the work that we do by doing the mitzvah with joy. I see we're running out of time, so I'm going to stop there for this week. And next week, I'm not going to be teaching a class, even though I would like to be, because my wife said, you're joking if you think that you're going to have time to teach this class, because we're koshering the kitchen on Tuesday, and I remember from previous years not to do a class that close to Pesach, and then of course it's Pesach, and I didn't check the calendar, but we'll have the next class will be the first Tuesday after Pesach, unless it's like, the Bezat Hashem. I'll tell everyone, I'll send everyone a message, Bezat Hashem. Just look at your calendar. Okay, so I want to share a story. You have any questions, Pesach? You want to ask something?
I'm just going to say Mashiach will be here,
so we'll be celebrating Purim. So my Torah is now I go around to people and I say, did you make Havdalah after Purim? And they said, no, you don't make Havdalah after Purim. I said, that's because Purim is forever. And they said, every week when you make Havdalah, what do we say in Havdalah? La Yehudim, Hayita, Ora, V'simcha V'son, Vayikar. We say the part from the Purim, like the holiday of Purim. We say it in Havdalah every week, because we're bringing Purim into every week. So Mashiach is here, we're just going to be celebrating Purim. But you can feel the energy. Like, I don't know how sensitive you are to the energy. I always give the example of like putting my hand on the wood here. So a carpenter sands the wood until they don't feel the separation between the pieces. And you have to have a certain sensitivity to feel that. There's a spiritual sensitivity as well. And when you're in tune to the spiritual energies, you can feel the spiritual energy of Hanukkah, of Purim, and of Pesach. And they all have a different energy. And Purim is kind of a high vibration. Pesach is a deep and wide and high, a much bigger energy than Purim. And that's the joy of Sivan that we're in now. So, we don't say Tachanun all of the month of Sivan. Oh, sorry, Nisan, right. Thank you. We don't say it all of Nisan because of the joy that's coming down right now. Okay, so this is a famous story I also have on the podcast, so maybe you remember it, I don't know. But it's such a good story, I love telling it. And also it's a story I heard from my Rabbi, Reb Shalom, blessed memory. So it was the beginning of World War II, and the Skulena Rebbe was living in Chernovitz, which is in Ukraine. And of course, in the beginning of World War II, there wasn't a lot of food, and for sure there was no matzah. There was even hardly any flour, but somehow somebody got a sack of flour, and they brought it to the Skulena Rebbe. And of course the flour wasn't kosher for Pesach, but the Skulena Rebbe said that he's making matzah for himself, and for anybody that wants. And so people said, okay, fine, even if the flour is not kosher for Pesach, if the Rebbe is eating it, I'm eating it. When the Vizhnitzer Rebbe, who lived in Vizhnitz, he heard that the Skulena Rebbe was baking matzot, he sends his son. And he said, go to the Rebbe, the Skulena Rebbe, and ask him for 6 matzot. Now the Rebbe was only giving everyone 3 small matzot, like about that size. And the Vizhnitzer Rebbe's son, he says to his father, I'm going to be embarrassed. I don't want to ask for 6. Everybody's getting 3. He said, go and tell them that you're doing the mitzvah of kibbud avim, doing the mitzvah of honoring your parents. Your father's asking you to bring 6, so bring 6. So he goes to the Skulena Rebbe, and the Skulena Rebbe says, no, everybody's only getting 3. He says, but my father insisted on 6, and he said it's kibbud av. So he says, okay, fine, I'll give you 6. So he gives him 6 matzahs, he comes back home, and his father was very happy. He takes the 3 matzahs and he puts them aside for their Seder, and he takes another 3 matzahs and puts them aside for something else. And now it's getting closer to, it's probably a week before Pesach, now it's Erev Pesach, like really the afternoon of Pesach, and the Skulena Rebbe, so everybody else is helping to knead and roll out the matzah, but he's actually sticking it in the oven. I did that for many years in a chabura here in Achlaot. I also almost ended up in the hospital from being dehydrated. Yeah, it was crazy. Oh my God. I was like this close. I didn't realize how hot it was, and I was having so much fun baking the matzahs. Okay, so he's taking the matzahs in and out, he's checking them when they come out, and here comes the son of the Vizhnitzer Rebbe, and he says, I'm really sorry. And before he goes, his father says to him, go ask for another 3 matzahs, and whatever he answers you, please give him this package from me. So he comes to the Skulena Rebbe. He says, Rebbe, I'm really sorry, I'm so embarrassed. And the Rebbe's like, no, what do you need? He said, my father asked for 3 more matzahs. He said, I'm sorry, my son, but we don't have any more matzahs. We baked all the matzahs, and I've given not only all of the matzot, but there were some more families that came. I had 3 matzahs for myself, and I gave one family 1 matzah, another matzah, another matzah. I don't even have any matzot left for myself. I can't give you anything. So he says, well, my father said, no matter what you said, to give you this box. And he goes back home, and the Skulena Rebbe brings the box back home, and he opens the box. And what does he see in the box? 3 matzahs that he baked with his own hands. And how did the Vizhnitzer Rebbe know to bring the 3 matzahs back to the Skulena Rebbe? Because of course the Vizhnitzer Rebbe was also a tzaddik, and he would have done the same thing, given away his own matzahs. And so in order to help his friend the Skulena Rebbe, he asked his son to bring 3 extra matzahs, so he would have 3 matzahs for the Seder. Such a beautiful story. There's so many levels in that story. And I always love telling that story. So everyone should have kasher Pesach, kasher v'sameach, happy and a kosher Pesach, and really be able to be joyful and enjoy time with your friends, family, whatever it is, and really enjoy. Bezrat Hashem should have the simcha of the holiday, the joy of the holiday. And we'll meet again when we're elevated already after Pesach. Okay. Let's see. All right.